creating a Visual Basic app, Windows form using the .NET framework, and I need to give it a name. And I also need to know the location of where it's being saved at. So in this case, I'm going to browse to find a location that works for me. And I'm using a projects folder. I happen to be using Visual Studio 2017. And I'm going to leave the solution name the same as the name of this project. And then click OK. And I'm going to follow some steps which I've been assigned. So I'm going to do this one. Windows form application. I didn't call mine loops practice. I gave it a different name. 2 labels, list box, and 2 buttons. So toolbox, I'm going to pin that down, and when it populates, common controls, and 1, 2 labels. I should change this. Make sure the form is selected. I'm going to make some changes to the form. I want this in alphabetical order. A little easier to find. And I want to change the font size, font, and I'm going to change it to size 16. That makes the form a little bigger. That's okay. And that's the only thing I'm going to change on that. Couple buttons. And a list box. I'll put that between the 2 buttons. Okay, so I've designed my form and my 2 labels, 2 buttons, and a list box. So now I'm ready for the coding. I'm going to okay. So I'm going to code the for example first. So to get to the coding window, I'm going to double click on this button. And it takes me to the button 1. I didn't rename my button. It takes me to the button 1 click event. And so between here, private, and end, this is where I'm going to place my code. And here's what I want to do. I want to put a for statement in here. So I'm going to have Visual Studio help me out a little bit. So I'm going to type for and the tab key a couple times, and it gives me a little coding stub here that I can work with. And I wanted to print out 1 through 10, so this coding stub looks like it's going to work out for me. So now what I need to do is I just need to display those in the list box. So the default name for my list box, I didn't rename my list box either, is ListBox 1. By default, that's the name. And I want to add an item? No. Whoops. It's add. Let's see. ListBox1 add. No. Darn it. Items. Yeah, items. Items dot add. There it is. That's the one I want. That's the method I wanted. So I need to put the parentheses on the end of that. And what I want to add, I want to display the numbers 1 through 10. And where can I find those? Well, that's going to be the value of index. And I'm going to change that. Since it's a list box, and when it displays information in a list box, that's going to be string items or characters. There's a difference between 1, which is a number, and 1, which is a string. Okay, I'm going to change that to string. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try that now. I'm going to save all, file, save all. And now I'm going to run that. And debug, start debugging. Okay, so the only place I put coding, there's nothing in the while example right now, but I did put something in the for example. So when I click that, it puts in 1 through 10. Okay. Close that, go back to my coding window. Now I want to do the while example. Double click on that, get to the, and I'll type while, and it gives me a stub for while. One of the things I want to do is create a variable that I'll call counter. And I want to do the same thing that I did in my for statement, which is from the list box 1, I went to items add, and then I can add the value of whatever the counter is, but change it to a string. Okay, now I could do this, but this is an infinite loop. Where will counter increment as it goes through the loop? Well, nowhere. So it's going to be 1 forever. So it's an infinite loop. So after I add it to the list box, I want to take counter, and I'll do it the long way. Counter plus 1. I want to add 1 to the counter. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. Save all, and then debug, start debugging. And we'll see if that works for the while loop now. And now 1 through 9. Wow, why did it do 1 through 9? What on here do I need to change to make it go from, it's starting at 1, why is it not going all the way to 10? And I'll leave that for you. That's all. Oh, now that I've done this, here's what I need to do. I just need to go find my project that I've saved. And mine was in, I created a folder called projects, which I think is, yeah, that's the one that I created. And I just need to right click and, or in some way, compress this folder. And I'm ready to go. I need to rename this. Right click and rename, or click on it and put my name here, so it won't be confused with other names of anyone else. And that one is saved and ready to go. Okay, let's do another project. So this one I'm going to do File and close the solution. Alright, I'm ready for my next project. For that one, I'm going to need some starting files. So here's a zip file, and I'm going to download the zip file. So after I download it, I want to extract it, the unzip file. After it's been extracted, what I can do is open it up and find out which one I want to start. Create solution, and then double click on that, and Visual Studio, and launch that. And there it started my file. I want to see the designer form, so I want to go over here to my main form VB and double click that. And it gives me a starting place to put my coding in. If I want to put my coding in a button, I can double click on the button and it will take me to the coding for that button eventually. There it is. I'm ready to go. And then when I'm all done, I can make sure I do File, Save All, and I would be done with that. So I'd be ready to take grade solution and zip that up. Okay. Okay, that'll do it.